you've got this great read on inflation. Now, I'm the only one who's probably going to tell you that, because you look at the way everybody else is reacting here and they're all freaking out. Let me show you. I mean, markets are higher though. You know what? The markets are higher for a reason. The markets are higher because they recognize what I recognize. And let me just double check and make sure they still are higher, because as I came to air, they indeed were. And yes, we're looking at S&P up about 1%, over 1% on the Dow, NASDAQ up 1.2%. And this is because inflation held steady. That's the Wall Street Journal headline coming out today, and they kind of had it right, although they got a little overly fixated on the core number, which rose to 3.1%. Not a big deal. You know why? Energy prices, they're coming down. Food prices are coming down, and the core number excludes food and energy. And I love how liberals always want to look at the core number. And I'm like, wait a second. You need the overall number, because you can't exclude food and energy. Like, people actually, what do they consume? Food and energy. So when you guys keep looking at the core number to make yourselves feel better, that's not the number that actually affects everybody. So the core number, it's fine, but you know what? Here's the New York Times interpretation of this. By the way, Paul Krugman's been put on notice. Donald Trump the other day came out on Truth Social and he called out Paul Krugman. He's the economist who teaches at Princeton and writes for the New York Times. And, you know, he's been wrong on absolutely everything, because he always thinks that Trump is going to fail. And what do you know? Like, Trump succeeds. And so everybody was like, oh my God, the inflation is going to be terrible. Like, we're going to have a horrible inflation. Just wait till this report comes out. And you know what? It didn't budge. It was 2.7%, the same as it was last month. What does the Fed shoot for? Somewhere between 2 and 2.5% inflation. They want a little bit of inflation because you want to have that expectation of inflation. It helps encourage people to buy today, as opposed to saying, well, I can buy next month, right? The deflation is really scary, because then people just don't buy, because they're like, oh, the price is going to go down, go down, go down, go down. At least with a little bit of inflation in the economy, the thinking is you have it working smoothly. So this report came out in the New York Times. They were just itching. So was Bloomberg for a big, big, big number on inflation. They're like, you know, it comes in light at 2.7%. What are they going to do? Well, they still print this headline. Check it out. U.S. inflation report shows effects of President Trump's tariffs. And so they you know, they're like, oh, it's clothes and these sorts of things. Well, you know what? Like, I'm sorry, but maybe we shouldn't be buying, you know, disposable clothing on Shein, the Chinese site with all its toxic chemicals in it, right? Like, maybe it's time that we actually have stuff that is made in America and is safe and is good and we like and we know is good. But I would say that, you know, the markets overall, we're seeing this optimism, and it's important. I love seeing the optimism. I encourage you to go to 76 Research. I also encourage you, as we think about optimism and a growing economy, what else is going to benefit from that? Energy. And what is also benefiting, but U.S. energy. And this is a big deal. This is a big deal, guys, because the left has had their way for so long, even on everything, right? On everything. And it gets a little annoying after a while, because they've been able to brainwash everybody. One of the reasons that actually we get a loud noise behind me. I don't know if you can hear it. I think another ship is taking off. One of the reasons why Rob and I started this 76 Research was because of everything that the left was doing. It was just impossible. And part of that, you know, he tells a great story about how he wanted to invest in an energy company. He was working in a big fund, but because of all the rules and regulations regarding this wokeness, he actually couldn't. And he's like, this is when the light bulb went off. Like, this has just gone too far. This has really gotten crazy. They tried to really restrict the U.S. energy industry. But you know what? The U.S. energy industry, it's good. I mean, fossil fuels. Think of how that they have been able to change our lives in really meaningful ways. I mean, air conditioning, just the basic, you know, I'm overseas right now in Europe, and they're not as into air conditioning, shall we say, as we are. They're just not, because, you know, they're very conscious of energy, and we commend them for that. But the air conditioning is not everywhere, and you go to some third world country and you really don't have it, and the life expectancy, right, is not the same as where you do have it. You think about all the medical devices that work off of fossil fuels. They're not all that bad, and I think it's important to just remember that they have really extended our lives in meaningful ways, and we should appreciate that. In fact, that big noise, if you heard the foghorn, that was actually my boat that I'm on departing right now, because I'm looking at the screen and I'm feeling all of a sudden a little bit of motion underneath me. So anyway, long story short, they are one of our great sponsors on the program. This is a company, NASDAQ listed, Prairie operating company, high growth, low cost producer of safe and responsible American energy. You can learn more by going to oilfacts.com. So we appreciate very much their patronage. But, we began the show talking about both Adam Schiff and, of course, Letitia James. And at this moment in time, as we consider just the hysteria from the media, as we consider what's going on vis-a-vis DC and the crackdown there, as we think about Adam Schiff now in the hot seat, I would just say, there's going to be a whole lot of people that are going to be facing consequences. There are some that might be more top of agenda. I mean, Adam Schiff certainly would be one. I think Letitia James, they were both pretty egregious in what they did and how they did it. And so this is a little bit of payback and retribution. And before anybody says, well, that's not good, we shouldn't be doing that, and I know a lot of folks on the left are saying that, here's the reality. Think of what went down and think about how that can never actually happen again. I mean, you just can't say, I don't like the other side, so I am going to make their lives miserable. You have to remember, this is a country. This is the United States of America. And so no matter which side wins, we need to keep moving forward. They've rigged the game for so long. We didn't even get a chance today to talk about all the gerrymandering, right? But you think about all the gerrymandering that they've done, and we'll get into that in better depth tomorrow, because I've been looking at these numbers and I'm like, wait a second. You get states where you have almost half the population that happens to be Republican, and yet they don't have any Republican representatives in Congress. No. Why is that? Because these guys have gerrymandered the heck out of everything. Because when they're in charge, they take the ball and they run with it. And we try to be nice. We're nice, good, conservatives. And they take advantage of that. And so now Trump's coming in and he's like, enough is enough. You know what? You guys had your chance. You've ruined so many American cities. DC is certainly top of the list. Chicago, hey, you might be next. New York City, watch out. LA, it's already clear. He's made it clear to Gavin Newsom. We can send in the National Guard when we need to, and we will. And we have authority to do that from the federal court, the 9th District Court, Circuit Court, that actually ruled in our favor for that. So I just think that all of this is coming to a head, and he's taken no prisoners, and he's out to do what he wanted to do from the very beginning. And so expect a lot of change, and it's going to be rocky, but that's good, right? And meanwhile, we're nearly 1 million. We're nearly 1 million subs. I'm so excited about it. Thank you for all you guys do to make this show a success. I'm going to be back with you tomorrow with much, much more. We're going to get into this gerrymandering stuff because it's pretty important. And then in the meantime, I'm going to go have a little dinner. I'm actually 6 hours ahead of you. Can you believe that? Where I am. It's good. Right before school starts. I'll be able to get up really, really early. And the kids will too. That'll be a good thing. Anyway, thank you for being here. Thank you for doing your part to make this a success. We are very close to 1 million. We're going to be having a party very soon. Thank you again, and I'll see you live tomorrow.